I'm glad my wife remained outside of it all. She doesn't need to be burdened with this. Tammy has her hands full since the baby arrived. Neither of us were prepared for the changes to our lives, even though our friends joked about all the dirty diapers and sleepless nights. Life has been so good to us. We live on our spacious property in our beautiful home, up on the cliffs that look out over the ocean, like something out of an Emily Bronte novel. So we've been lucky in money and in love, and, up until now, in health. Jeremy came 2 weeks early, and there were some complications. He was fine, but Tammy had to spend an extra week in the hospital. Between worrying about my wife's life-threatening condition and my new little son, I didn't get much sleep. In truth, I didn't get any sleep. But I never missed a sunrise out on the cliffs. That's my meditation time. An hour each morning for my sanity. Do you know how long a person can go without sleep? I looked it up on one rainy afternoon sitting by my wife's hospital bed. I watched her hooked up to all those IV bags and monitors, blissfully sleeping. It had been day 4 of her hospital stay. 4 days since Jeremy's birth. 4+ days since I last slept. So I looked it up. My head was hurting and my eyes burned, even that early into it. According to Scientific American, some high school kid back in the 60s holds the record for time without sleep, and it's 264 hours. That's 11 days. He set out to test the human limit as some science project. So I was fine at only 4 days, or even 7 days, which is when they allowed Tammy to go home from the hospital. While she was out of the woods, medically speaking, she was still weak and had to take it easy. So now I not only had baby Jeremy to look after, but Tammy as well. The baby was up all night, and Tammy was up all day, which meant I was up all the time. I had no time to myself except my golden dawn hour. Some people would sleep, but I knew that if I finally fell asleep, no one would ever wake me an hour later. So I didn't even try. The article mentioned that prolonged sleep deprivation can induce altered cognitive states called microsleep. Also, loss of cognitive and motor functions, where a person is basically dysfunctional even while awake. And even periodic hallucinations are common. I don't feel like I'm having any microsleep periods or any of these other common symptoms. Yet, how would I know, right? If I'm having a cognitive disorder or dysfunction, would I be cognitive enough to know it? It was sometime during the second week that I noticed the shapes and colors. I didn't dare mention any of this to Tammy. She'd already been through so much that I couldn't worry her. I could handle this on my own. I was craving sleep the way a starving person craves food, but to give in to sleep would be to abandon my small son and my sick wife. That would never happen. As my grandmother was fond of saying, this too shall pass. Soon everything would be back to normal, and I would be able to catch up on all my lost sleep. Do you dream in color? Think about it. I don't know if there's a universal answer to that question, or if everyone's different. For me, the answer is both yes and no. By that, I mean that while I do dream in color, the colors are muted, like old faded photographs of your grandparents' wedding. Red is a dim copper, purple is closer to gray, blue is the color of vapor, and green looks more like a mossy brown. Rather than pure black and white, those are dark smudge and light smudge colors. Also, like an old photo, objects in my dreams are never clear. They don't have any sharp, clear edges. I view things in my dream as if through a keyhole. The center of things is sharply focused, but the edges disappear into a phantom mist. Why do I ask about dreams? It is a funny topic coming from a man who hasn't slept now for... how long? What day is it? 12 days now. Maybe? No, longer than that. Hey, high school kids from the 60s, bad news. I beat out your record, kiddo. So sorry. Sorry, then I'd gladly trade your record for my sleep. My hurting head and burning eyes have gone numb, and I admit to feeling just a little batty. My thoughts are becoming incoherent. Isn't life a comfort? After a long night of bouncing from dream to dream on the whims of your subconscious, then you wake up in the brightly vivid colors and shapes around you that let you know you're back in the real world, that you're home safe, like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, opening your eyes to a sharp, solid world, leaving behind the fake world of haze for solid ground. To close that door between the sleeping world and the waking world is a comfort. The best thing about the waking world is that we have some control. Maybe not as much as we would like, but certainly more than in the sleeping world. There, you're a victim of your own imagination, where you have no control over where your dreams will take you. You have no control to wake up and escape the nightmares by simply walking through that door. I can't remember exactly when, but sometime in the second week, that door between worlds opened. I don't know what caused it to open. I don't know how to shut it. The shape of things, the fuzzy edges of things happened first. I was changing the baby when I lost focus. I could only see the very center of my focal point with any clarity. All else was a haze. Suddenly, I was changing a blurry baby surrounded by a cloud. His eyes and his smile were dim but clear. I rubbed my eyes, but it didn't help. I assumed it was just an optical fatigue or irritation like dry eyes. But then next came the colors. The vivid purples were now just lackluster grays. The brilliant reds now just dried up copper. Here were all the familiar hues of my dream state. Oh, no, I thought. What if I really did fall asleep while tending the baby? A hard pinch produced real enough pain. Then I began to rehearse all the smallest details of my personal history. In dreams, I never seemed to know the details of my life. No, I was awake. Was it possible that by eluding the realm of sleep for so long, it was finding me? Coming after me? It was hard to smile and act like nothing was wrong when I spoke to Tammy. And I could tell that she wasn't completely convinced. She commented on my pale, drawn face, my bloodshot eyes, and the black circles under my eyes that were so deep. On the other hand, she was getting back to her normal self. She was even spending more time helping me to take care of the baby. I didn't even spend the extra time napping. I was fixated on figuring out this mystery. How was all this dream state stuff happening? Tammy seemed oblivious to the things that only I could see. Finally, last night, Tammy took Jeremy to stay with her sister for a week to give me a break. Her instructions were for me to get in bed and not move for the next 72 hours. If only it were that easy. Was that 8 hours ago that she left, or 18? Time has lost all meaning now. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can finally lie down, but sleep won't come. And yet it has. It came unbidden to my real world. I'm not sure, but I think I have been up here on the cliff all night. I remember watching the sunset, the moon set, and then the Milky Way was so bright, I focused on it. And now the sunrise is almost here. Looking around me every now and then, just out of the corner of my eye, I catch a glimpse of that doorway. It's become a very tiny passageway now of vivid colors and sharp optics that remind me of where I truly belong, just beckoning me to come back to my own world. A place of vivid light, solid objects, and solid logic, just out of the corner of my eye, here, then there. It's ever-shifting, changing, and growing smaller. It tells me that so, too, is my time to escape growing smaller. No one can help me. No one can give me advice. No one has ever been here before in this situation, not even the high school science kid. And if the sun is rising, that must mean that I have arrived at day 13. 2 days beyond the world record. In that sleep deprivation report I was talking about, no human has ever made it this far before. Yet in lab-tested animals that had been driven to wakefulness for this long, the result was always death. That's always, 100% of the time, death. Death as in the big sleep. Now that sobering thought is enough to wake anyone up. I think I figured it out. I think I understand now what it is I have to do. I have to catch that doorway and pass through it before it's too late. I think once I'm back in the real world, I will be able to sleep. How can you fall asleep if you're already occupying the sleep world? Or if it's occupying you. You have to be awake in order to fall asleep. I have become trapped between these two states, between two worlds. Sleep is eluding me and will until I can get to the other side. My life depends upon escaping. Listen, I have my plan. The next time I catch a glimpse of that doorway, I intend to pass through it. Until then, I'll just sit up here on the cliff watching the sunrise over the ocean. The breeze is so warm and gentle. I have to remain alert. I'm in the race of my life. Maybe I should go to the hospital. There's no way I could operate a vehicle in this condition. Maybe I should call 911. Or maybe I should have told Tammy the truth about how long it's been since I last slept. No! I can handle this. I just need to get to that opening. It would stop moving. Where is it? There. Getting small. What if it gets too small to pass through? Will I be trapped like this forever? Okay, good. I've got a good fix on it. I can see the sun and the ocean so vividly through it. I've got to hurry. I've got to run for it before it moves again or shrinks even more. Here I go. I'm passing through soon. Soon I'll be safe. Soon I will sleep.